Hey guys, it's Blyboy, and today we're going to be talking about the DC villain known as Bloodsport, who is soon to appear in James Gunn's Suicide Squad on August 6th, which I'm extremely excited for. You've already probably seen Javelin and Weasel. Today we're going to be covering the character known as Bloodsport, who will be portrayed by Idris Elba in that movie. So, Bloodsport first appeared in Superman issue 4, volume 2, written by Carl Kesey and John Byrne. Now, Bloodsport is kind of an interesting character, but also a very dark character at the same time, because when he first shows up, he literally pulls out a machine gun and just mows down a whole bunch of people inside this mall where Jimmy Olsen is at. And then he gets away on a motorcycle, which is pretty dark. But Superman shows up later, and he's like, what the heck just happened? Why are there all these dead people? And the cops are pretty much like, look, this guy called Bloodsport, he shot up all these people. Jimmy Olsen says that. So Superman, he uses his infrared vision to see where the bike was, and he follows a trail that is going to lead him right to Bloodsport. But first, he talks to the police commissioner, their detective, but he follows the trail of Bloodsport, and this leads him to a bowling alley where Bloodsport is at, and he's still causing chaos, shooting civilians, all types of stuff, and he's about to shoot another one when Superman shoots the gun out of his hand with his laser vision. So now we have Superman face-to-face with Bloodsport, and at this time, no one knows who Bloodsport is. Of course, comic book fans know who he is now, but we didn't know at the time. But before he could shoot it, Superman stops him and punches him. He then throws the gun away so Bloodsport can't use it. Bloodsport then pulls out a small little gun, which turns out to be a kryptonite gun. And this is where we get the famous saying in the movie that he put Superman in the ICU with a kryptonite gun. Yeah, this is that gun. Look, he probably would have killed Superman in this moment if Jimmy Olsen had not intervened with another gun. Now here's the thing about Superman fans. They agree that Superman can be beat by some villains, or they are just stubborn as hell. They don't think anybody can beat them. You know what, I'm not going to say anybody, but I know people who don't think Dr. Manhattan could beat him. But that's not the point of this video. Anyway, so they go to the ICU. Superman heals up pretty quick, and they get out of there. We then flash over to Lex Luthor because he's behind it. If something goes wrong in Metropolis, it's either Lex Luthor or aliens. That's just how it is. And Lex Luthor's like, this guy's out of control. I don't know why I hired him. So Superman and Bloodsport, they get into their fight, and we learn that Bloodsport, he transports his weapons from far away. He can teleport them to him. So then some of Lex Luthor's guys show up to try to take him down. That doesn't work. Superman knocks him over while he's standing on a pile of rubble. He then teleports another weapon in to use against Superman. However, he teleports these weapons, which you kind of do see in the trailer, but I'm not exactly sure if that's the case. But Superman, he ends up burning the weapons with his heat vision and knocking it out of his hand. We then have this reveal of this guy showing up who turns out to be Robert Duvall's brother. And this guy was a soldier. And the story pretty much that we learn is that Robert Duvall was a soldier who he abandoned the military. He fled, and his brother went in his place so he wouldn't get in trouble. And his brother went, and he got destroyed by a bomb, which left Robert Duvall grief-stricken, and it made him go crazy. He's been in and out of mental hospitals, so that's why he went on this rampage. And that was how the story ended. Bloodsport wouldn't appear for a while, but his weapons and teleportation weapons would appear during Superman 59. And in this story, a bunch of homeless people got a hold of his weapons and just started firing on police. Now, luckily, Superman was able to intervene and, get the weapons from them before anybody was hurt or killed. So, the second version of Bloodsport is this guy named Alex Trent. And I never thought I could hate a DC villain, but I honestly do hate this guy. He's just a dick. I mean, he just shoots the other race for no reason. He's basically a racist. But his character appeared in Superman Adventures, and he mostly went after African Americans. I don't know why. And it doesn't make sense why he would take over the mantle of Bloodsport since the last guy was African American. But I'm not going to get into that. Oh my gosh. Anyway, he would then reappear in Superman 528, Bloodsport vs. Bloodsport. And in this story, Superman pretty much he referees a fight in prison. I don't know where this idea exactly came from. I like the comic, just don't understand why he's reffing. But it's this boxing match between Alex Trent and Robert Dubois, the former Bloodsport and the current Bloodsport. And it's a very tense, thing, because you got a racist fighting a black guy. How do you think that's going to go? Robert Dubois beats the crap out of Alex Trent. And, Alex Trent, he's not a great fighter, but, Robert Dubois, he beats the crap out of him pretty well, which is good. However, he does try to transport a gun in to shoot Robert Dubois. Luckily, Superman intervenes, and he falls into the crowd, which allows Robert Dubois to run away. And he makes an escape, and so does Alex Trent. But Superman eventually is, Robert Dubois first, he escapes, and, knocks out a couple guards. And luckily, Superman's able to escape from the guys and go after them. Otherwise, Alex Trent probably would have killed someone else. Oh, wait, he does, my bad. So, Alex Trent and his gang, they get their guns together, and they plan on going after this guy. They plan on going after Dubois. Luckily, Superman crashes through the wall and flies straight at them and burns most of their guns up with his heat vision. Alex Trent then pursues Robert Dubois, and while doing this, of course, an African-American police tries to stop him. Of course he shoots him and kills him. However, Robert Dubois jumps in and tries to shoot him. Now, Superman should just let this happen, just like how Batman should be allowed to kill the Joker just once, because he just caused a lot of pain. But after all this, he locks up Alex Trent, and Robert Dubois is shot to death by a bunch of guards trying to escape. Luckily, Alex Trent is killed in the end after his own gang throws a Molotov in his prison cell. Yeah, that's karma for you. In Superman and Batman issue 10, World's Finest, we were introduced to a new version of Bloodsport, one whose identity is still unknown to this day, but I suspect it is Robert Dubois. And this story starts off with a breakout at Stryker's Island and Arkham Asylum. And the people behind it are Lonnie and Donnie Revan, which I'm not exactly familiar with, but they decided to break these villains out. And their plan is to pretty much take over Gotham City and Metropolis by using these villains. Now, you have Batman's rogues who are really crazy and Superman rogues who are pretty powerful. So it's a very interesting mix. And you have Bloodsport and Deadshot both causing chaos when Deadshot tries to shoot Bloodsport and this fight breaks out between the two of them. Nobody is killed in between it because both are putting up a good fight. But in all honesty, Deadshot probably would have won. But Batman and Superman intervene and take them down. And the rest of the story, they just take care of the rest of the villains. But in Superman 652, in Up and Away, this story deals with the aftermath of 52, where Superman was hit with a lot of red sun radiation, which caused him to lose his powers. But now his powers are back, and Lois Lane gives him a Superman costume and tells him, go do your job. And this character known as the Puzzler shows up the Daily Planet and just starts causing chaos, wanting Superman. Superman does show up, which shocks everybody because they thought he was dead. And, he takes it to Puzzler, and they begin to fight. And the thing about Puzzler is when he punches Puzzler, she turns into different puzzle pieces every time he punches him, almost like how Sandman, when you punch him, he turns into different pieces of sand. Well, while this is going on, Lex Luthor hears the news of Superman's return and is all pissed because he wants to get this Kryptonian artifact, and he can't do that if Superman is around. So he decides to send out some other villains, who he's paying a good amount of money for them to take him down. And this includes Livewire, Bloodsport, Silver Banshee, Helgramite, and Riot. So Puzzler's kind of led Superman into this trap where all these villains are going to attack him. And during this fight, Riot gets a good hold of Superman while Silver Banshee tries to attack him. However, Superman breaks free and attacks them. Livewire and Banshee fly off and try to go after him. And that's when Bloodsport gets the idea to shoot Jimmy Olsen while he's trying to get into a cab. However, that's a bad idea because that's like Superman's best friend. You do that, you're really asking for it. So Bloodsport tries to shoot Jimmy Olsen. However, Superman catches the bullet before he can hit Jimmy in the face. And that's pretty much how this story ended. The story would then continue in Action Comics 839 Up and Away Part 6. And the story begins where we left off, with Superman saving Jimmy Olsen from Bloodsport shooting him. And Superman's kind of pissed off. He's like, y'all should give up now. They say no. And it gets in this fight between Superman and all these different villains. And of course, Bloodsport tries shooting Superman. Superman blocks it. Superman then knocks out Bloodsport, but while Bloodsport is falling, his muscle goes off, and he shoots a gun at Silver Mansion, causing her to fall. He then takes out Riot. While all this is going on, later on, sunstones start popping out of the ground, like the stuff the Fortress of Solitude is made of. And the story ends with Superman fighting Lex Luthor in this Fortress of Solitude-like ship. Yeah, if you want to know how the story continues, I highly recommend you go pick up the issues, because I'm not about to cover that. Anyway, Bloodsport would then appear in the comic book series known as Salvation Run. In this story, all the villains were pretty much captured by the government or the Suicide Squad and taken to this planet called Salvation after so many events have happened. Like World War III, where Black Adam lost his mind after his family was murdered and just went on this complete rampage. Like, it was real bad. And then you have Green Arrow and Black Canary's wedding, where a bunch of villains attacked and they had to fend them off. Anyway, in issue 4 Salvation Run, we find out that Bloodsport, he is on this planet, and also during this event, Lex Luthor and Joker set up different camps. They're at war with each other. But Bloodsport, he was part of Lex Luthor's camp, so that was his role in the Salvation Run. After the events known as Rebirth, Robert Dubois returned as Bloodsport, and he first appeared in the comic Flash 61, Buried Alive. And in this comic, he had a very small role that he played. So there's this country where villains like to go to party, and one of the villains there partying was, of course, Bloodsport. And here, they can't be arrested because they're legally allowed to be here. He then would reappear in Suicide Squad number 5 with a much bigger role. And in this story, Amanda Waller sent Bloodsport to Earth 3, which is the home of the Crime Syndicate. And we learned that the reason he has this new suit is because it's supposed to protect him from multiversal travel. So while there, he's gathering other squad members and trying to take people from Earth 3 to make squad members. And then he finds out about Ultraman and finds out about Black Siren. He's like, I really like this Earth. I like how crazy and evil everything is. Amanda Waller's like, just shut up and do the job. He then learns that on this Earth, he's actually a teacher and not a villain. And he thinks maybe this Earth isn't so bad. Then Black Siren attacks him, and then he attacks her with a sonic gun, which works. And then Ultraman shows up behind him, grabs him by the head, and throws him to the ground. But Bloodsport, he shoots him with kryptonite gas. However, no one told him that on this Earth, kryptonite doesn't affect Ultraman. He literally breathes that crap in and says, delicious. He fries the bomb in Bloodsport's brain and then smashes his head and just leaves it on the ground, and that's how the story ends. However, I have heard that Bloodsport will be in a lot more future issues of this Suicide Squad run, so keep your eyes out for that. So do I think Bloodsport is going to survive in Suicide Squad? Well, before I tell you that, let's go over what we know about this character. So, what we know is this version of Bloodsport was trained by his father, who was also a mercenary, and he was arrested after a failed assassination attempt on Superman, which only sent him to the ICU. Now, James Gunn has talked about Bloodsport and said this guy is grumpy, he just wants to get done with the job, and just wants to get to his, be done with it. And the only reason he's doing it is so his daughter is protected. Now, from what I've also been able to tell, is he and Peacemaker are going to have a little bit of a rivalry, or they're not going to get along a lot. And you can see a lot throughout the trailer that Bloodsport, he just does not want to be there. Like, he just doesn't want to put up with anybody's crap, and he wants to be done with it, which I can't blame him. I wouldn't want to be part of a Suicide Squad full of killers and rapists, murderers. There's no telling what they've done. It's the Suicide Squad. But the point is, he can hold his own at least. He's actually a threat. I suspect the reason he wears his helmet, I feel like his helmet's going to end up being bulletproof. That's probably why when Peacemaker does that or tries to shoot him or whatever, as you saw in that picture, or maybe they're aiming for something else. Maybe he accidentally shoots him and it doesn't hurt him, but it's because he's wearing a helmet. The point is, I feel like Bloodsport, there are two options they could go. Well, obviously, he either lives or dies, but I feel like I kind of feel like he's going to live, but at the same time, I don't really know, because James Gunn, he said nobody is off limits, which I don't know about that. I'm pretty sure they won't kill King Shark. I'm pretty sure they won't kill Harley Quinn. Peacemaker, we'll talk about him in his video. But Bloodsport, I don't know. I feel like one character will sacrifice himself to save Bloodsport. Actually, maybe two of them. But the point is, Bloodsport, it's kind of hard to decide. But as of right now, I'm going to say yes, he survives the whole mission. But I feel like in the end, Amanda Waller is going to screw him over. Because James Gunn has already said he is going to direct Suicide Squad 3 and any spin-offs. Which means the Peacemaker show. And maybe we'll get a Bloodsport show or a movie. But maybe Bloodsport fakes his death to make Amanda Waller think, oh, they succeed the mission, but he's faked his death and gone off somewhere else. Maybe that's what happens. Maybe. But maybe he gets screwed over by Amanda Waller and is taken back, or maybe killed by them. Kind of like how in the comic he's kind of screwed over at the prison and shot by a bunch of guards in the back. It wouldn't be too shocking, but hopefully he lives, because honestly, I like Idris Elba, and I feel like he's going to do a great job in this movie, and I love the character of Bloodsport. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe. It doesn't really matter. Just, let me know if I'm doing good or not. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. It's probably going to be Peacemaker or Savant. Or maybe a Marvel character. Don't know yet. You never know. It's always a surprise. Anyway, peace out.